sing it. We are joined in the studio with Desmond Tan, and he is a commercial films director, husband, father of 2 monkeys. I know that feeling. I've got 3. And the executive producer at Atypical Films. Now, he is here because he is a 2-time stage 4 colorectal cancer survivor since 2019. You've gone through 20 cycles of chemotherapy to surgeries. One is involving the highly innovative procedure known as HIPEC, is that pronounced that way? Which greatly increases survivability for cancer patients. Now, apart from running the company, mentoring others, he continues to stay highly active and to film commercials, and he hopes to shoot his first feature film sooner than later. We welcome Desmond Tan.
Hello,
hey.
welcome. Good morning.
Desmond, thank you so much for joining us. It's Cancer Month. October is the month of cancer awareness, and we definitely appreciate you taking your time to be here. I mean, that must have been such a massive journey for you. We want to learn from you this morning, so
that's right.
Sharing.
It's all about getting into that battle mindset for conquering cancer. Now, I want to share a little bit about how I came across your story. We're friends. We've worked together before, filmed something together, but I was just the extra.
The calife.
The calife, yes. But I've always been following Desmond, and suddenly he was posting up, about his cancer journey. Desmond, it was amazing. You were so candid about it. There were pictures of you just stripped down, showing just how the disease had impacted your body. And I am just amazed how you, just steeled yourself with this battle mindset to conquer your cancer, and not once, but twice. So can you tell us this? How did this whole journey begin? And why did you choose to be so open and sharing it with everyone?
Well, in 2019, I was pretty much at the height of my career. I was busy, I was working, I was shooting a lot of commercials. And then the poop thing came, right? I had irregular bowel habits.
Right.
There was a sharp pain in my abdomen. And yes, there was blood in the poop, which kind of went on for a while, and you kind of always think, I spent a little bit too long, surfing TikTok on the toilet bowl, right? And you think that it's pals, and you think that, guys, it's not always that. So after a while, decided to get a checkup, a colonoscopy, and then after that, that's when the doctor said, you have a tumor. I'm like, tumor means what? Tumor is cancer? Is that same?
Right.
And we kind of all have that little inkling of what it is, but until you really have it, that's when you really deep dive.
Sure.
And then after that was a whole flurry of activity, finding out about my insurance package, what am I covered, how far have I gone in terms of the cancer, what staging it is, and that was a whole huge ball of emotion after that.
Sure.
After that, I decided to share it with with everybody I knew on Facebook, because I started having to give a lot of updates to friends. So instead of texting everybody, my wife said, why don't you just put one time on Facebook lah?
So you're kind of like documenting it as well on Facebook. Because that's what you do. You make documents and films.
There you go. Yeah. So I decided to start writing, and the writing never stopped. And I started to chronicle the whole journey, and it got great results. People were helped, and the thing that was beautiful was that people started forwarding it to other friends who were going through the same thing, and it greatly encouraged them. So I just kept writing.
That's true, though. It always helps to hear from someone who's going through the experience for us to really, really understand. And it helps us.
Yes.
If a newly diagnosed patient were to come aboard, and I think if he or she read, Desmond's post, his story, in a way they get some comfort. They also get some way of navigating through this very, very complex journey,
I think also because even if we are not going through it ourselves, we know of someone. We know of a loved one, a family member, a grandparent, a parent, a sibling. And sometimes that puts you at risk as well if it's in your family of contracting the disease, right? And that actually runs in my family too. So I wish we were Facebook friends. There was a time when I was also scared of this. But can you tell us, what was the mindset that you wanted to adopt? Because some people adopt a very fatalistic mindset. The end is near, the sky is falling, and that's it. That's my life. I'm going to prepare for the end. What did you do?
Well, to begin with, it wasn't all, bed and roses and all so nice. To begin with, and I did the same thing. We cried. We cried a lot. My wife and I, we railed with clenched fists against the sky. And that's a good thing. It's a release. But after you cry, you spend a week crying, and then there's no tears left, and then you get to work. And
Okay.
that's when my doctor said to me, he said the first thing, hey, it's not a death sentence. Are you willing to work with me? We're going to start right now. So let's go, So that's what it is. And people often say, oh, you got to fight cancer. But what does that really mean?
Yeah.
That's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
what
It's not
does-
like you can put on a pair of boxing gloves and come on, man. You
Exactly.
me in the
You
ring.
can't? Yeah.
Yeah, you wish you could literally beat cancer in the submission, but what can you do? You know,
Okay.
I know we all know it's metaphorical.
Yeah.
So then, after a couple of months, I realized that fighting cancer really means, number one, kind of subjecting yourself to what the people who know better, their advice, the doctors
Okay.
and all, right? So they say, okay, do this, take this, eat this. Okay, I'm compliant. I make sure I keep to the schedule. My wife also said one thing to me: take ownership of my own disease.
Wow.
That's
Right.
powerful.
That's powerful. That kind of rocked me out because at one point I was like the man with the man flu, right? Because I was like, I'm in all this pain. Oh, I poor thing. I got stage 4 cancer. Have pity on me. But at some point, it's enough of that. And she said, wake up, take ownership.
That's a very enlightened statement, I gotta say.
Yeah.
Your wife is like a whole nother level.
Yes, yeah.
How
yeah.
did that affect you? How did that make you jump into action?
Then I realized that yes, as much as I have a whole village to look after me, I had to do things for myself as well because people can't be looking after me 24/7. I'm a grown adult, yo.
Yeah.
We are going to talk more about this incredible journey, hear more about how your wife was involved in the journey as well. We're going to jump onto Facebook Live. Head on over to facebook.com/1FM913. Join us. Hey everybody!
Hello.
Good morning. Look at this cherry smile. This is Desmond Tan. He is a commercial films director, the executive producer of Atypical Films, and a 2-time cancer survivor, stage 4 colorectal cancer. And just look at him. He just radiates all this positivity.
And all this in recent years, like at the start
Yeah.
of COVID 2019.
That's right.
I'm looking at a picture of health.
Yes.
Glowing,
Yes.
smiling, positive.
I ran here.
Wow. You are definitely inspiring me this morning. Just listening. It's only been barely 5 minutes and I'm already so inspired about your story. To take ownership, as you mentioned on air, of your disease, that's not easy. A lot of us get the man flu syndrome. For me and your wife to say that, wow, spurred you into action.
Oh yeah, totally.
How did you start reframing that thought?
Yes.
Actually, what went through your mind? What's the breakdown like?
Oh, actually, that's a good point. It's a reframe from being a patient,
yes.
Yeah.
right, to being. I don't like to use the word warrior. I think it evokes too many things. But someone who does something. I haven't found the appropriate word yet. But it's someone who is being very intentional with the things that I want to do.
Good
Yeah.
word. Good word.
Yeah. So obviously you start with a lot of mental stuff like, okay, I'm going to fight this. Fight what? Fight where and why. So finding the why is huge for me. I had to write all that down. Like, what are my priorities? And because we have, a limited time span, right, on this earth, then you really have to kind of cull away the things that I think are unnecessary. If I have 2 years or 5 years, we all have some kind of a time limit. But you know what? I am blessed beyond everybody else because I roughly know my time limit. Other people don't. So with that in mind, I'm kind of like, okay, I've got this schedule, right? Let's kind of what do I need to tick off all those boxes? And then from there, you start fighting. And then what does fighting mean again? It means subjecting myself to the treatments, with a great cheerful attitude.
Can you get a sense of Desmond's his mindset is so powerful, there he is. He is facing, his mortality, and yet he's saying that, no, it's a blessing. I get to know and I get to plan ahead, because I know. You're amazing, Desmond.
Wow, I don't know about amazing. I think what's really amazing, in truth, and it's the village around me, from my mother, my sister, the village of women. Can I just say that, I'll just say it on air, I had 2 surgeries, right? I mean, God bless my first surgeon, but my second surgeon, she's a female surgeon, Dr. Melissa Teo. When I had the HIPEC procedure, the entire room were female, from the nurses to assistant doctor.
Wow.
So my life has literally been saved by women.
Wow.
And that's a beautiful thing. I love that.
Thank you for saying that and for acknowledging
huge.
the many female professionals, in the industry that work tirelessly as well. I think, especially in this day and age where there's not enough hospital beds, there's, people are always in a hurry. We take for granted a lot of people. I mean, that is huge, I'm sure, to everyone in the medical profession as well.
Absolutely. No, women saved my life, man. Yeah, where would I be without them?
Ayo. You deserve a medal.
Oh, thanks.
Or at least some claps. Yay!
We're going to give you some medals to give to those women. Okay?
Yeah. Give him your gold earphones.
Here we
The
go.
gold
Here we go.
earphones.
Take
Done
it.
it.
Take
It's
it.
the first thing he talked about when he got here.
But here's the thing. I love how, I wanted to bring you on to share your story because, you talked about how you journaled, as you tried to figure out the why, the what, the where in your battle to conquer cancer. And I think this really helps for those who are newly diagnosed. Where can they start? Because it's such a confusing, overwhelming journey. What are some of the struggles that you faced as you battled with the disease?
Voices from a lot of sources. Wow, that rhymes. Voices from sources. So I think one of the main things I got was everyone well-intentioned and loving, telling me a whole lot of things.
That must have been overwhelming.
That's overwhelming. That's tough to kind of weed out like what works, what doesn't, scientifically, anecdotally, what works for you. So that's the tough part. So I started receiving a lot of gifts, from coconuts to soursop leaves to
turmeric.
turmeric, exactly, which I still take, by the way. Well-intentioned friends and all lovely, but you can't take them all, right? You have to kind of figure out and cut through the clutter and go, okay, this works for me. And you have to take some form of position lah. Like some people would like to go the traditional Chinese way. Fine, more power to them. It's okay. But I think more than anything, it's really that mindset to go, okay, I can do this. I need a little bit of help, and you have to ask for help.
Ooh. We're going to carry on that conversation on air. Join us back on 1FM 91.3. Oh, what a great track to come out of. It's Majo with Lady, Hear Me Tonight. I don't know about this lady, but I want to hear from Desmond.
It's funny that song came on because just off air, he was taking time to appreciate all the women in his life that have helped him through the struggle, from the female doctors and nurses. The whole room, he said, during his medical procedure were women. So
for the second
that
surgery,
was a
right?
sign. That was a sign. Yeah.
And Desmond, you said, literally, women saved my life. Oh, wow. So I asked this question about some of the struggles you faced, as you battled with the disease. For example, you mentioned there's just so much literature, right? So much people are, everyone's got good intentions trying to help you. What was that like?
Overwhelming, a little bit confusing, and it's hard to tell people, thank you, but I'm not going to take that.
Right.
So that's a tough thing, because it comes with a lot of heart.
Yes, of course.
Yes. So I think we take what we need, and that's the good vibes, the rainbows and the unicorns that's coming our way. Take it. It's all good, yo. And kind of remember that. So that's where the journaling comes in, because then when you write it all down, whether it's on Facebook, on your own journal, then when the times are a little bit bad, and then you kind of read through it and you go like, okay, you're loved. You've people have got your back. So that's good. But just on the practical level, I taught myself, with the help of my wife, of course, to kind of read through some medical journals, because you want to cut through the clutter. You want to cut through the listicles on Facebook. The 5 ways to beat cancer. I mean,
there is no shortcut though.
There isn't, and there's so much literature out there. So you have to kind of almost go to the source and go like, oh, actually this was actually a random trial of only 10 people, and they say it's good.
Oh dear.
And but because news outlets or would actually take that as a headline.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and take it as you would, but you do need to have a responsibility to yourself to dig a little bit deeper.
Yeah,
and
you
that's where
got
you
to
go.
do the research.
Exactly, that's taking ownership lah, pretty much.
Yeah. What was the one thing that kept you calm and centered during this difficult time?
Oh, this app.
It's a great app.
I kid
The
you.
music is fantastic.
Yeah, no, I kid you not. There was an app called Insight Timer that I used.
Okay.
Yeah, so I would
Insight timer.
Insight Timer.
Insight timer.
That's
Okay.
right. So you turn it on, you put like 30 minutes, and it goes dong.
I want it.
I kid you not. So sitting on the chair in chemotherapy can be tough. It's
Yeah.
5 hours being there. I can't watch Netflix because that makes me sick.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
moving images kind of
Oh,
just
right.
makes you go a little wonky.
I see.
Yeah, so listening to podcast music also makes me, funky.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then I found Insight Time. I've never been a huge meditation person, and I don't know if I did meditation per se. I did certainly try, but the app really helped me to kind of center myself.
Wow.
And then I also did go to a hypnotherapist at one point.
Interesting.
Yes, and the hypnotherapist taught me to have a trigger. So now when I put my thumb and my index finger together, I'm trained to bring myself into a happy place.
Oh, wow.
That's really good.
I like that.
Yes. Dong,
Very
then I go to my
practical
happy
tip.
place.
Hey,
Yes.
come back. You're in a happy place here on the bright side.
It's your other happy place.
My happy place was a forest with greenery in the forest of Ireland.
Oh,
Chick, chick, chick.
beautiful.
That can bring an immediate sense of peace and calm, actually. Someone taught
Yeah.
me that as well. To just
Exactly.
picture your favorite place, somewhere where you feel totally relaxed and at ease.
Yeah.
And
So it's a lot of visualization, really.
But I really like what you're sharing here. I think this is useful for just, everyone, every day. And I love how you're always trying to bring in, that positivity, into your fight, getting into that battle mindset. I mean, what was that, how do you include all that positivity as you journey through, your cancers twice, stage 4?
Wow. How do I bring that? You know what? I actually have a nickname called Doomsday Des.
Oh, sorry?
what?
No way. No, really. Doomsday Des. My wife calls me Doomsday Des.
Is that your alter ego?
It is. So prior to 2019, because I've been in film production for so long,
Yeah.
this is my 23rd year in film production.
Wow.
Being a film producer, director, you are trained to think of all the worst case scenarios.
Right.
Like if I fly, I will wear my shoes.
Okay.
Right, because if you crash,
You
then
can run.
You can run, exactly. Yes, exactly. So it's a hard task to kind of reverse that line of thinking to everything is going bad to
Yeah.
like, okay, I have to believe that things will be okay because of the why. So once I go down to the why, which is my 2 boys, my wife, the village around me, and it's not much, it's really that. Then you decide to, okay, I've got to do this because there is a reason for being. Yeah.
That's powerful.
We're going to jump back on Facebook Live. If you have any questions, comment on our Facebook video, or you can drop us a WhatsApp at 88550 The conversation continues.
The Brightside.
Hello.
Hey, everybody.
I want to say hello to Candida. She's saying thank you. I'm hoping it's thank you to Desmond for being here with us
You're
today,
welcome.
chatting about
For sure.
a topic that's very personal, but a topic that perhaps a lot of people are trying to understand as well in their own lives and make sense of. So thank you for that. Bringing that ability to bring sense around nonsense. I'm sure it
I
was a
love that.
chaotic period.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, it was.
So, what were some of the major changes you had to make in your life as you went through this ordeal?
When I didn't used to exercise, I do now. There you go.
Really? What do you do?
Big one. Yeah. So I mean, because I'm in film production, we eat bad food on set. We don't have a lot of time to exercise. We don't sleep well. You finish at crazy hours and you wake up at 5 a.m. to go to work. All young people there, don't be afraid. Still can come into film production. It's fine.
The disclaimer statement has come out.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
exercise, okay?
Just exercise. But I think if anything, the 3 things that I enacted in my life, number 1 would be nutrition, the food that we eat.
Okay.
I wouldn't say I'm 100% vegetarian. I would consider myself 90% vegetarian.
That's still really good.
It's still very good. Cut out the red meat, the processed food. the high sugar drinks. HPB, sponsor me, please.
You're looking at the labels now, the
I
A, B,
know.
C, D, E.
Oh my gosh, when I went to the supermarket, I couldn't take 90% of the things there.
Yeah, because a lot of them are not
It's all-
healthy.
yeah, it's all processed, right? So then my wife said, okay, let's deep dive, because we love food.
Yeah.
Then let's deep dive into healthier options, Mediterranean, Indian, Mexican food.
Sure.
And then you realize that you actually don't need much meat, because all those foods are so fabulous, so rich, and so there's a lot
Tasty.
of taste
Yeah.
and texture in it that
Yeah.
you're kind of like, yeah, okay, I'm okay with no meat. And that's not to say I don't eat meat. I mean, there's birthdays, there's Christmas,
Of
there's turkey and
course.
ham. Of course, I take those. So I'm not like uber religious about that. I
Okay.
just go for what makes me happy as well.
But that, that's keeping it real.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And you said there's 3 things. So what's the third?
So the second thing would be, of course, health, exercise,
Yeah.
right? So
What activity do you do?
So I swim a lot now. I
Ooh.
try to kick in about 2 to 3 times a week of swim, run, and hit.
Nice.
Yeah, I mean, the next step we get a personal trainer, but that's okay. I think as long as I'm feeling super active and glowing, right?
We can
Wow.
see the glow, by the
Yeah.
way.
Yeah,
It's very
yeah,
obvious.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm way more energetic now than I ever have been before
Wow.
cancer. So that's wonderful. And then finally, it would be kind of the stresses in my life.
Okay.
What do I do with the things that cause me stress, whether it's work, even the boys to a point, and sleep. And one of the very underrated things that actually can cause contributing factor to cancer, and people don't realize this, is sleep. It's the lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah,
I was just
and-
reading about that actually.
Exactly.
Less than 7 hours, yeah. Or
Yes.
people who get 3 to 5, you actually predispose yourself.
To cancer.
Yeah,
Yes. So
it's
sleep
shocking.
is one thing.
Yeah.
And so I've always been wondering, okay, I've got bad food. Everyone eats bad food, right? I don't exercise so much. Everyone also like that. There is a genetic disposition because my
Yeah.
father had cancer as
I
well.
see.
So yes, but we always say that genetics might load the gun, but lifestyle fires it.
Whoa.
Wow, that is a powerful statement right
Yeah.
there.
Meme that, y'all. Yeah, so that's powerful, right? So maybe, yes, you're predisposed to it, but your lifestyle would actually push you off the edge.
Right.
Yeah, so that's one thing that we can control.
So you mentioned before, you are a commercials film director. Production schedules are crazy.
Yeah.
Right? It's it's never the same. It's long hours. How do you incorporate all these major changes in spite of your work?
That's tough. I can't lie, that is a difficult thing, and it's a culture thing within the industry
Yeah.
where it's hard to kind of go against the grain.
Yeah.
So the one thing I can do, thankfully, I'm the boss of my own company. So I try to change the culture within my company. So so in my company, there's pre 2019 and post 2019, right? Where right now, we have policies for our staff and myself to take breaks, take leave whenever possible.
Oh, wow.
You want to take leave? Yay! Clap hands, celebrate. Instead of like, oh, you go, no, who's going to do the
Yeah,
work?
true.
My staff would go like, who's going to do the work? I said, that's not your problem. I will sort that out. You go and enjoy.
Doesn't that place extra stress on you
Oh,
then?
yeah.
It does to a point. As long as everything is well planned, I think
Yeah.
it's okay. But I'm heartened to know that one group just came back from diving, another group's going tomorrow to go diving.
Nice.
And they just organize this amongst themselves, and so that it's working.
Yeah.
And we try to have digital detox after 7. No one text anyone, just so that you can kind of like break out and do your own thing.
I like that there have been positive repercussions
Yeah.
as a result of your condition.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't help but, when you go through such a major, experience,
Yeah.
but to see it actually being brought to your own company, that is truly inspiring. We're going to head on back in just a bit on air to 1FM 91.3, ask our final questions to Desmond, but on the whole, Desmond, you are truly inspiring. I want to come and
you.
work for your company.
Aiyo.
Then tomorrow
Please
we can go
adopt
diving.
us.
Hey, wait.
Adopt me. Take me with you. Please.
It's a groovy one here from Charles and Eddie. It's Would I Lie to You? Of course not. The bright side, we don't lie.
Never mind about Charles and Eddie. It's all
Hey,
about
what-
Desmond today.
Yes, it's true.
It's our special guest.
It's true.
This National Cancer Month. October is Cancer Month, and you've been sharing with us how you survived twice stage 4
Yes.
colorectal cancer. You've been surviving thriving, I would say, since 2019. Thank you so much once again for all the nuggets of wisdom you've already shared with us, on air, off air. Actually, Desmond, I wanted to know right now, you said you made a lot of lifestyle changes. 3 of them were, exercise, diet, your nutrition, and also controlling your stress. But how do you control your stress?
Yeah.
What is the response to any stressor or trigger in your life now?
Oh wow, that's a huge one. I think I am a natural worrier. I am.
Because you were doomsday Desmond.
I'm doomsday Des, right? So I'm a natural worrier. I still am. I mean, that's kind of in my programming lah, right? So the difficult part is really kind of, again, centering oneself.
Sure.
And going like, okay, this is one of the small things. Don't sweat the small things. What is the big thing? The big thing is, okay, don't let the cortisol level, don't get the stress level get high. Then when I feel like I'm going to Hulk out, right? Like become the Hulk.
Hulk smash!
I know, right? When you're going to, okay,
you
Hulk
can
smash.
feel it, yeah.
Yeah, you can feel it. And it makes you feel powerful and strong. And, when the kids are doing their thing and you go like, no! It's a bad reflection and a bad example to the kids. And secondly, it does no help to your own stress. And you kind of kick back and you go like, okay, this is not helping anyone, especially myself. So there is a point where I have to be a little bit selfish. Again, the wife said, for the first time in your life, in your 40 over years of life, can you please be a little bit more selfish instead of selfless?
Aiyo, so
because
sad.
all my life, especially in film production, I give, right?
Yes,
I always
yes.
make concessions and I say, okay, what do you need? How can I help you?
Right.
And I have often paid that price with my own convenience, health, and energy level. And that's just, my programming, it's self-sacrificial lah, right? And there is meaning in that. And I still find meaning in that. But there is a point when when now I have to go like, okay, I have a meeting later, I have to do this. But wait, hang on. I need to look after myself first. So the oxygen mask got to be on me first before I can look after others.
Ooh, very good,
so that's a
good.
big thing, right? So I will go for that run. I will do that meditation. I will do that HIIT because I need to look after my body. Because if I don't, I can't look after the rest of you guys.
Right. Wow.
So that's important.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for saying that. Because it's like as if you're giving the license to everyone tuning in. Put yourself first, and it's okay. It's not selfish.
No. Yeah.
In fact, it's doing a lot of good for yourself and those loved ones around you, their employees and all that.
Yeah, then you can go the distance and you can tahan.
Yeah.
If not, then, if your body breaks down, you really have that one body, then
Yeah.
how do you carry that load, whether it's your family? And we are the sandwich generation, right? We have to look after the kids and the grandparents and the work. That's a lot of load.
That's a sense of duty that comes with being
It is.
Asian sometimes.
It's an Asian thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then
That's
you
true.
realize that, this duty comes with a lot of consequence and repercussion. And we have to stop and think about, hey, what does self-love, self-care look like actually in the
Exactly.
midst of all of this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, thanks for reframing that, actually.
Yeah.
Putting things into perspective for us.
Now, I want to know this. What's next for you in life? That first featured film you mentioned?
The first
Sooner,
feature
not
film,
later?
Sooner, not later.
We're in, right? We're in it, right?
Oh my gosh.
Fair.
Yeah. No, it's called The Brightside.
Open.
No, I
on
tell
the
you what,
radio
I help
station.
you to mop your brow,
Oh.
And I help you to say, you need to check out self-love,
Exercise, go
self-care.
run, go
run.
breathe.
I will stop them for you.
Be my live bodyguard.
Hey!
Oh
wow.
That's a thing. That's a
Okay.
thing right there. I don't look too far into the future.
Okay.
That's one thing. So it's interesting with cancer survivors that we live on 2 timelines. That's
Ooh.
interesting. Well, there's a timeline that we have because I am stage 4, right? And the life expectancy of a stage 4 cancer survivor is, let's say, X amount of years,
Okay.
right? Say 5 years or 8 years. And it is what it is. So you kind of like max out those years whilst not stressing too much. So you plan based on those years.
Okay.
But then there's also the hope and the optimism of going way longer, right? So when you plan, it's a bit strange, a little bit, of two minds. Okay, do I plan for like the next 20, 30 years or do I plan for the next 3 to 5 years? So that's a bit strange. That I'm still trying to figure out. But I think what's next is I live from scan to scan right now because right now scan every year.
Okay.
So we plan up to that scan. My next scan is in October, middle of October actually.
Okay.
Yeah. So if I get it all clear, then I plan for a year. Yeah. If I don't get it all clear, we go in chemo, we kill the thing, and we come back out and we go back into regular programming.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. And you know what? Cancer is so prevalent right now, which is why you're having this cancer month.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's so prevalent. It's everywhere. Like everyone, someone we know might have it. It's
True.
what, 1 in 4, 1 in 5?
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
that high.
Yeah, so it can't stop us in our march of progress. It shouldn't stop us in what we want to do.
I love that.
Yeah, it's a little speed bump.
Yeah.
Right? For some, that's a nice analogy. For others, like myself, it's not a speed bump, it's actually a forked road. Then I have to decide, do I go with regular programming or do I change things radically?
Sure.
It's not about balance of life. I know a lot of people say, oh, must have balance, everything in moderation. I disagree actually.
Okay.
With us, it's a war. And in a war, there are winners and losers. I cannot lose in this case. I have to win. And so therefore, the things that I do needs to be a little bit on the extreme side.
Sure.
If possible. And you know what? The odds are stacked against us. So it's always about how do I even out the odds as much as I can.
Sure.
So in terms of future plans, not a whole lot. But within the year, really one foot in front of another. Enjoy the moment, the day, today, right now with you. That's all that matters.
That's wonderful advice, not for just someone going through this similar journey, but for everyone, I think we do take for granted from the day to day after our routine, our humdrum, we lose that sense of appreciation and gratitude and awareness, of the health, the life that we have around us. You are such a breath of fresh air, Desmond Tan. I cannot believe it has taken us so long to meet someone as inspiring as you. Hey, don't don't
Sorry.
Don't
Never mind, it's sooner than later. You're finally here. Can I ask, would you like to give a mention to your wife? I mean, she's such an
what's her
incredible
name?
support.
And your kids?
Josephine Lowe.
Wow.
Josephine!
Yay.
You are
all
a
the
true
truths and the wisdoms
hero.
from you.
Yeah. No, a lot. Like huge amounts from her, really. Yeah. I did want to say one more thing.
Yes.
I mean, you said, what's up in the future. There was one thing that I'm hoping, and here's a funny thing, right? With cancer, I start off being very vocal about it because I thought that would help others to get open about it. And then after a while, because I was so vocal, people got kind of a little bit like, oh, okay, he's the cancer guy, right? So, hey, hi, Desmond. I'm a 2-time cancer survivor, and I say it a little bit, maybe too cavalierly.
Yeah.
So sometimes people get a little bit, I don't know how to react with that.
Awkward.
Awkward. Yeah. So I realized that maybe I gotta rein that in. But I think that comes to a point where we have to normalize talking about that.
Sure.
Normalize talking about cancer, end of life arrangements, and it's part and parcel of life. But these are one of those things that we don't talk enough about. So people people in the Lian Foundation, I mean, they're doing great jobs and great work, kind of bringing it to the fore in public consciousness. And I think that's an area that I kind of want to bring a little bit more light into, over and above trying my best to change culture a little bit, at least within the film industry and the media industry, to say, hey, we can normalize rest, we can normalize taking breaks and taking care of ourselves and self over profits or self over the production for a while at least, still keeping our level of excellence.
I think also because people look at success as you working very hard, you putting in those extra hours. I don't go on holiday, I don't take leave, and people see that as success. we gotta reframe that.
Good point.
I used to be like, oh man, same thing, I didn't sleep for 3 hours, I slept for 3 hours, I haven't gone for leave for 3 years,
And you wear that like a badge
and
of
I
honor,
wear it like
right?
a badge of honor. I realize how wrong I am. Excuse me. But yeah, I'm hoping to change that narrative.
Yeah.
Well, Desmond, thank you for saying that. Thank you for letting us put it out there for everyone to tune in on that. How can people follow you if they want to follow you? Because you really are an inspiration.
Quick, I got my Instagram ready.
What is it?
I think on Instagram you can go in the blue room.
In the blue room.
Yeah.
Okay.
No E. Yep. In the blue room. There's a lot of Desmond Tans out there, obviously. So you can Google it. I think I come out on page like 4. On Google.
So in the blue room without the E after the BLU.
Correct.
Right?
I found you. You posted
okay.
about Shanti.
Of course.
So thank you so much for joining us here on the Brightside. We wish you all the very best.
Thank you very
Desmond.
much.
Take care.
Carol and Lavinia.
Love you.
Good times. Greatest hits.